People often ask me to cover more things that aren't, Nintendo related in the gaming industry, and I am trying to do a little bit more of that. But we all have our favorite gaming companies, our favorite consoles, franchises, and whatnot. But love them or hate them, I think we have to agree, Nintendo is the most interesting company in the gaming industry. Constantly looking to innovate, to be different. Sure, sometimes that results in something that's successful, and sometimes that results in something that's a total flop, but it's interesting to watch. Look at the main console competitors, the Xboxes, the PlayStations. They're always just a more powerful, more capable version of the previous console. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with playing it safe. Sticking with what works is great and all, but to me at least, it's not as interesting to talk about, to discuss. And that's really why I enjoy focusing my discussions around Nintendo. Sure, I'm also playing mostly games on the Switch right now, but that wasn't the case during the Wii U era, I'll be honest, even though I was still mostly talking about the Wii U when that system was a thing. I certainly wasn't playing it the most. There just weren't enough games to justify that. When a great game did come out, sure, I played the hell out of it, but they were few, and the gaps between major releases were enormous. Those peaks and valleys, the successes and failures, they keep things interesting as well, right? Like the Wii was a mega success, and you know what? I think I played that thing less than the Wii U. I've gone on record multiple times, even though everyone thinks I'm a blind Nintendo fanboy because I focus mostly on Nintendo. But yeah, I've gone on record saying I hated the Wii. I thought that console was awful. I hate motion. It had some good games, don't get me wrong, some great games. But everything about it, I hate motion controls. I think they're dumb and gimmicky every single time. That's what I think. So you could sit here and be like, oh, well, what about this game? No, I think they're dumb and gimmicky in every game. Just let me push real buttons. And the fact that it didn't output in HD in the era of HD was ridiculous to me. I think the push for 4K right now is a little obnoxious. I don't think people are adopting that nearly as fast as HD. But in the era of HD, pretty much everyone had an HD TV for gaming. But that console, it did amazing because it was able to catch fire with the casual crowds. People who were far removed from gaming were sold on the motion gimmick, games like Wii Sports. I hope I'm not talking to people who disagree with this. I see this on the internet, sadly, a lot. People who actually believe, oh no, it was the core gamers who made the Wii such a success. No, sorry. Simply, when you sell 100 million consoles, but have major first-party releases, and this is Nintendo, where those diehards buy like anything first party, but you've got major first party releases selling only a few million. Sure, that's not bad sales wise, but in terms of attach rates to the amount of consoles out in the wild, that's awful. I mean, compare that to the launch of the Switch, where, remember, we were getting reports that copies of Zelda on the Switch were outselling actual Switch consoles, so people were either buying multiple copies or they were buying the game just in anticipation of getting the actual console later. And that's why I think the Wii U had so many problems, just even image-wise. They did want to keep that casual crowd and try to appeal to the core gamers as well at the beginning, but the casuals were long gone. There was all this confusion as to what this console actually was, and it was dead from day one. From that original, E3 reveal where they were first showcasing the console, and you had industry experts, the gaming journalists and stuff like that, coming out of the reveal going, is this a new console or is it a peripheral for the Wii? People actually didn't know. After that, people that are involved in the industry weren't sure what they were looking at. You have a problem when that's going on. And now we got the Switch, right? Which really brings together some of the best aspects of Nintendo. I mean, when it comes to handheld gaming, I don't think there is any debate. Nintendo is king. People are trying to jump in on it. PlayStation, obviously, with the PSP, the Vita, you got that NVIDIA Shield tablet thing. People are trying to kind of challenge them a little bit, but nobody has stood a chance. Nobody has come close to dethroning Nintendo. Even back we had the Sega Game Gear, right? to trying to challenge the Nintendo Game Boy. Also, didn't do so well. Nintendo they have it locked down when it comes to handheld gaming. So creating this hybrid system that, brings that handheld element, but also lets you throw it up on the TV was just fantastic, and it's been showing in sales of both hardware and software. People love this thing. But is this going to be the future of Nintendo? Personally, I hope so. I would love to see Nintendo kind of stick with this at least for another generation, get like a Switch 2 or something like that. Just a version that's maybe a little bit more powerful, a little bit more capable. But who knows? Maybe the next system they show us will be something totally different. Did you guys see that that new patent? This was only a few days ago, I think, where Nintendo patented this like passive walking device, essentially a self-propelled walking machine, robot legs, basically. I mean, what the hell could they be planning with this? Now, as far as patents go, obviously these companies, they patent random stuff all the time. Doesn't mean anything, but it is always fun to speculate, and Nintendo always does. They do this really out there stuff. I mean, could they be planning a return to their quality of life concept with this? Remember that? You were going to get a little finger sensor that was going to take your pulse, I guess, stuff like that. They abandoned it. Maybe they're going to bring it back. Could this have something to do with VR? Is Nintendo going to finally make that jump? Are they going to get into the VR space? Personally, I don't really think it's necessary. I don't think VR is at the point yet where people should be going crazy for it. I'd give it another 5, maybe even 10 years. Or is it just as simple as designing robots that will inevitably take us over? Who knows? And I would like to throw in before I close, like even the bigwigs over at Nintendo, the mainstays, your Reggies, your Miyamotos, your Aonumas, they're also so interesting, a little out there, clearly passionate, but definitely a little different in the way they handle themselves when they do either their Nintendo Directs or any other sort of stage presentation type thing. They have no hang-ups about putting themselves out there, maybe embarrassing themselves a little bit, doing whatever they can do to add a little bit to help grab your attention. Whether they're winning or losing, just following Nintendo, covering Nintendo, it is always so exciting. But yeah, I kind of wanted to make this video to go over a little bit of history, but also to reinforce like why I focus so heavily on Nintendo in my videos. Even though I try to play as much as I can. I have all the systems currently, all the versions of the current systems, the PS4 Pro, the Xbox One X as well. But because they like to focus on being different, setting themselves apart from their competitors rather than trying to just best them in departments like power and graphics, these things it makes it more interesting to me to talk about. I'd rather speculate on things like these robot legs rather than, oh, how many teraflops is the PS5 gonna have? Can't wait to find out. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. Do you think Nintendo is the most interesting company in gaming? And if you have an idea, what do you think those robot legs are going to be used for? As always, I'm John Zakari, and thanks for watching.